Back at it today. Welcome for Success for Life podcast, and we're gonna go through an awesome presentation today, uh, if I should say so myself, on the 7 areas of improving your QB's on the field performance. I'm just checking one thing here. There we go. Not sure I like the background on this, and see if we can do something like. All right, so we're going to talk about the 7 areas to help your QBs on the field performance. Welcome again to Successful Life Podcast. This is going to be an awesome deal here. We're going to talk extensively about what it takes for quarterbacks to improve their on the field performance. I'm not talking about technique. I'm not talking about. Let's make sure we get our audios good here. Good. All right. I'm not talking about what is required from a standpoint of where their foot placement is, where their arm is. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. We're talking about on the field performance, and a lot of this has to do with mentality stuff, knowledge, and understanding. So it's a unique presentation. Very, very rarely. I did research extensively, at least on Google and YouTube, to see outside of the coaching sector if there's information that athletes and coaches can get. So if you go to AFCA, if you're a member, you could get that information, a good amount of that information, but not as much specifically focused just on the on-field performance. And we're going to talk about that today. Okay. So the first part, and this is of the 7 areas, is area number one, mental preparation. So there's some key elements that are important in developing a quarterback right from the time their young age. And you can see the difference as they move up in levels. The quarterbacks that have this mental preparation for the one versus the ones that don't. There's a certain amount of athleticism that you can get away with for a long time as a quarterback, but as you move up the ladder to higher and higher levels, the mental preparation is a key component of being able to be successful here. So, working on your confidence. So, when we talk about working on your confidence, building up the ability to believe in yourself and what you're doing and your ability to perform, those are key elements to it. And you have to be able to have that belief in yourself. Okay. And it's not a cockiness, it is a belief, an internal belief that you can get the job done. Some guys are external with it, but it has to be a true belief. It can't be a cover for something. It has to be a confidence that you're going to have the opportunity, that you're going to be able to get things done. Okay. It's an important element. Number one element of successful quarterbacks is their true confidence. Leadership skills. So there's a lot of tools that you can get between books and workshops that you can develop the leadership skills of your quarterback, how to interact with each other, how they take command, uh, exerting confidence among their teammates. Intelligence. The intelligence of your quarterback is key. Okay. Now, at the high school level, if he has leadership skills in some of these other areas, and if you have some of these other intangibles, you can get away with not being quite as smart, but smart. Like again, as you move up, intelligence is a key element. So being a good student is an important part of being a quarterback. Being a student of the game is an important part of being a quarterback. Those things you learn within books really help your analytical skills, those analytical skills that you need as a quarterback. Relationship with teammates. So, how they interact with their teammates. What is their relationship on and off the field with them? Do they garner respect? Okay, and teaching them how to garner respect of your teammates. Are they someone that someone trusts to be with them and lead them? Okay. And I'll answer a question. I have a question on here too. Handling adversity. Okay. This is the most important aspect other than confidence and leadership skills. The ability to handle adversity, the ability to overcome problems that you may have, injuries, problems at home, problems where teammates may have issues, injuries of teammates, things don't go your way in a game. Handling adversity, keeping others calm, and you being able to be focused, fired up, and ready to go and lead at the same time. That is a key element. So that's the first part of the 7 areas is mental preparation. Got a question here from James Tim. From your experience, what are some of the biggest strengths and weaknesses you see in this newest generation of quarterbacks? That's a great question. I think a lot of it has to do with the weaknesses. I think there's a lack of mental preparation. The areas that I talk about here, I think there is a lack of that. I think the biggest strengths is that definitely improved athleticism, definitely learning on developing their confidence, leadership skills, and intelligence at an earlier age because there are more programs available for them. But I don't think they're as good in their overall mental preparation and handling adversity. So those are some differences, I think, in this generation that really have to continue to be worked on. Thanks for the question, James. Involving in-game plan and scouting. Okay, so this is a really, really key component. Planning and scouting for game week. And then, you could even have it from a preseason standpoint. This is the second area. Opponent scouting is number 1. So understanding how they're going to attack you. And I'll talk a little bit more on that in one of the other areas, but how they're going to attack you, how they're going to defend you, how they're going to cover you. Self-scouting has to do with what you did well. Now, this is an area where technique may become involved, and the scouting area of yourself and what your own strengths and weaknesses are each week and what you did well and what you didn't do well. Did you recognize certain coverages? Did you do this or that? No. Okay. So that's important to make sure that you are doing those areas well at all times. Okay. Game week practice planning. So having a schedule for your game week, obviously practice schedule you have, knowing what period you're going to be able to work on your own improvement, what the game week schedule is going to look like, knowing that up front so you could prepare as a quarterback for what you have to improve on, including the areas that you're going to be working on and how you're going to attack the other team. So how are you going to attack the other team? What are their strengths and weaknesses? How are they going to attack you so you can begin to plan that, and now in your practices become more effective. All right, I call it number 3, the 3 areas. The 3 areas, front recognition, and this is really has to do with actual on the field, what's going on there. Front recognition, coverage recognition, blitz recognition. Those 3 components for a quarterback are key. What is the front they're going to play you in on different sets that you run and different plays that you run? If you're in one back, are they going to have a 6 box? Are they going to have a 5 box? Are they going to have a 7 box? What front are they giving you? Okay. Do they use 4 down linemen? Do they use 3 down linemen? Okay. Those are key components for the quarterback to be able to understand. This is what you must know in practice week leading up, and this is part of the scouting. Coverage recognition, okay? In rundowns, what do they play you in? In passing downs, what do they play you in? In different sets, what do they play you in? In 3-by-1, how do they play you? In 2-by-2, how do they play you? Okay, when you're in 5 wide, how do they play you? If you're in 2 back, what coverage are they in? You need to know the base coverages. That's going to allow you to attack them properly. Blitz recognition. Blitz recognition is very hard for a quarterback. And a lot of at the high school level, the pro level, and the college level, because defenses disguise different coverages well and then cover them up with different types of blitzes. And if you don't understand what these things mean, like, for example, if a strong safety is rolled down in a box over a linebacker, you could bet your bottom dollar that he's going to cover and the other guy's going to go. So there are things that you got to start to learn. But blitz recognition, signs that the team might be blitzing, Obviously, when you get to the pro level, guys do a ton of fake blitzing. College level, same thing. But you want to be able to know where the blitzes are coming from. There are 2 or 3 main blitzes that they use, and who is the best blitzers that they have, because that's a key component for you. The feedback loop. This is number 4. The feedback loop is a key element in order to improve as a quarterback on the field. You got to have great communication. You've got to have a great communication throughout the game week. You've got to be able to understand that feedback loop. But this is continuous. And what I mean by game week is each practice, each rep, each film, each rep. Okay. So when you're looking at film, each rep, make sure you understand what's going on, know the communication, be able to communicate that. On the field, same thing. Game week, this has to go on throughout the week. In practices, getting that feedback after each play from the coach. Okay. You stepped the right way. Good. You recognized the coverage. Oh, great. You picked up where they're blitzing from. Those are important things that have to be done in practice every single rep. You've got to be, as a quarterback, coached on every single repetition. In game, okay, you may not get coached in every single play, okay, unless there's an error or something made. But at the end of a quarter, it is critical that you get information from your quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, or head coach, or all, quickly and effectively as to what they're doing, things that they might have changed, and things to recognize. Or, hey, just keep playing. You're doing a great job. Doing a great job of everything. So it's really a situation where you can really, and I just want to make sure I get this here. You can really get the feedback loop continuous, so you can improve. Now, what we have to be careful with as coaches is when we provide that feedback loop. And yes, I'll make those slides available. Just DM me, and I'll get you the slides right away. Just shoot me a DM or shoot me a message, or just shoot me your email if you want in the comments, and I'll get that to you. Whatever you want to do, however you want to send it to me, and I'll get you the slides. So, in game is critical. Too many times at the end of a quarter, not enough is said to a quarterback, or people get into a panic mode. You've got to communicate what is going to be needed next for the quarterback, what they may have changed so they can improve quarter to quarter. I always think the worst thing that happens to a quarterback is you wait till halftime, he plays the game, and if he's in a slump for some reason in that game, then he's in a situation where he's struggling, and you got a whole half. You may end up getting down too much, and maybe his mentality may struggle. So that quarter, at the end of the quarter, give him that feedback. This is going well. This is not going well. This is what they're doing. Okay, just be aware of it. All right. So that's number 4. Number 5, team communication. Okay, so this is something I never do this enough because you're always struggling for time. But if you could encourage a quarterback to take the lead from this standpoint and meet with his wide receivers, running backs, offensive linemen, simulate calls of communication on and off the field. Obviously, on the field, you're taking care of a lot of that stuff with them. The more he takes charge of it, the better it is. Being calm, making sure both sides understand what the calls are, the cadence, the actual plays, okay, or any changes. But off the field in the classroom, and one of the things that I think you could do is situate them exactly how they'd be lined up in a classroom. Wide receivers on the far end, slot, running back, backfield. And if you do with those guys first, the skill guys, then you do it with the linemen. Okay. And you do communicate the plays. Play comes in, and no huddle. I think there's important stuff to do because it makes the communication better. But call comes in, you communicate it out, and you can simulate this right in the classroom. 5-10 minutes after you watch film, 5-10 minutes before you watch film. Okay, hey, let's get our communication. Let's get the calls. Quarterback calls the play out, or you call the play to him. they communicate it out across both areas, and then see fronts, you can call fronts, you can call chain, any of those kind of things, and communicate it. Get teammates' feedback. Okay. So there are some wide receivers who have a hard time hearing things. You might have to use signals for it. Um, what do they need to be able to understand what has to go on? So really be able to get the teammates involved in that feedback loop. Make sure they communicate back to you when they see things that are happening. Get teammates to encourage them to pick up blitzes. The better they get at recognizing coverages, the better off they are. Linemen to pick up blitzes, okay, and communicate that. Point it out. Literally point. This guy's coming, so we get that communication, okay? Okay, here we go. All right, the last two. Number 6 here, pre-game, okay? The day before the game, you must review with your quarterback. I used to do it at lunchtime. I loved it to make sure they knew the game plan. Do you understand these plays? Are there issues with these plays? Oh, there is an issue. Can you draw up what you see on this play, what the issue is? And we would throw out stuff that, like, if a quarterback's like, starts ahead, we just toss it because it's just he's going to do the same thing on the field, right? So you want to review the plays, review any questions they have, and everybody in the quarterback room, your backups, your JV guys, and your freshmen, because you want them to be comfortable when they come up. It doesn't matter to me, okay? You got to have all your quarterbacks in that room. Plays I call plays I like. So here are the plays that coach likes. Bob, boom, 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 boom. These are my number one plays I'm going to run in these situations. Okay. It's usually like a 5 to 10 play thing. This is what I want to be able to go to. The quarterback needs to write the plays that he likes. So he'll say, my quarterbacks would say, hey, I like this. I like that. These are all fine. How about this play? He puts down the plays he likes. You want to run some plays that he likes, that he's confident in, not just what you like, because he's going to execute the plays that he likes, definitely. All right, and if it's a play that works, then that's going to be one you're going to want to go to often. Q&A, so we ask questions. You could do testing, or you could draw stuff. You could draw up front. We're running XYZ play, draw up a front. What's the issue? Just 5 to 10 things that they can look at. You can use testing, you use paper tests. I like to do it on the board and do that tests collaboratively. And then making sure that they all understand everything and they could do the calls and stuff. And then pregame, when they come in, I grab the quarterback for a few minutes. Hey, listen, you slept last night. Did anything that we reviewed yesterday make you uncomfortable? Things you think we should do? And then right before the game, as we warm up and we see things, I say, hey, I saw this or that, just so they have an understanding of what you're thinking. So you don't go calling something that they haven't done in 2 weeks, right, out of the blue. You could, if you see something that they're doing in warm-ups, the other team, you could pull them aside and let them know, hey, I know we haven't run this in a while, but this is a play that may work too against them just from seeing what they're doing. Pre-game, at day before and early, making sure they understand. Again, key is keeping it straightforward so they understand everything. But that's will really help them. Emotional management. Just probably the most important thing along with the mentality part. And that's why I have one for first and one for last. So emotion management. My thing is you got to let quarterbacks be who they are. If they're an emotional guy, excitable guy, you have to know that that's how they are. And you have to know when to tap into that to get them to rise to a different level if need be. And then when also to calm them down. Okay. If you have a guy who doesn't show you any emotion, all right, sometimes you got to light a fire under him. Sometimes it's just better to keep him as he is. You have to let the quarterback be who he is and adapt to him. Adapt your coaching style to the personality and the needs of your quarterback. Okay. Yes, you may have a system you run. Yes, you may need them to execute this. But from an emotional standpoint, You have to be a chameleon that can adapt to them, that they trust has their best interest. Okay. And I say chameleon because sometimes you have to be hard on them. Sometimes you have to be easy on them. And you have to know their personality and adapt your personality to them. If they have to know that you're truthful and honest and everything like that, but you have to be able to adapt to them. They should not have to only adapt to you. They're going to naturally adapt to you as a coach, and they're going to adopt a lot of your principles, but you need to adapt to them. And the biggest thing is their emotions. Some of them are fiery, some of them are calm, some show no emotion. You have to be able to figure out what they need. Okay, this is really, really critical. That's why I leave it for last. Keeping them on an even keel for 99% of the game. There is a 1% of the time where they need to maybe show some emotion. It may be in a last drive. Hey, let's go, guys. We're good. Or maybe they need to stay calm in that. Okay, that's part of the adapting process. But keeping them personally on an even keel, that whether they show emotion or not, they are internally calm. Okay. The last part, and before I talk about the last part, you could DM me, shoot me a message, and I'll get you these this presentation. Okay, it's in a PDF format. Like, subscribe, follow. We're putting more and more content out, and we want you guys to be able to keep learning for the Success of Life podcast. And we cover a lot of things. Obviously, I'm a football coach for a long time, so we do a lot of stuff with that slant. But leadership, confidence, those kind of things we're trying to build in our athletes, and as men and women, and leaders in our jobs and in society. Keep communicating with the team. This is a big deal for the quarterback. And this is part of keeping them even keel. If something bad happens, they may stop looking to communicate with their teammates. They may internalize it. There are some that are outward, okay, and will get on their teammates for no reason. They need to communicate with them in a proper manner. This is where the coach can interject and pull them aside and say, hey, you can't talk, don't talk to these guys in that way. It's better if you stay calm with them. Okay. So you want him to keep communicating with his team, his teammates, and you have to keep that constant communication on to keep their emotion level in check so they can continue to perform at a really, really high level. With that being said, this is the 7 areas to help your quarterback improve its on the field performance. We look forward to next time talking with you on the Success for Life podcast. Have a great day. And the truth is, a lot of the things that I went over here are very similar that can be carried over into the workplace in your own life. I carried over to my life and in your jobs. Best of luck to you, and we'll see you soon. Coach Schumann signing off.